Hey guys, Jason here with another worship corner or worship confessional, as we used to call it. If you're not familiar with these are kind of where we sit back and we really debrief on what's happened with worship and for the day. Today is June the 10th, 2012, and man, today was an interesting day for worship. I guess if we were to have a theme, it would be distractions and distractions in a lot of different areas, both technologically and equipment wise. And we'll go over those in just a moment. But we want to focus on how you deal with distractions and talk about that for just a moment. Man, I went to sleep last night and I plugged my iPad in and plugged my pedal in, and I did a review here on Got Worship a while back on the page turn um, pedal. Um, if you haven't taken a look at that, I'll try to include a link below here for you to take a look at. But those two items are almost invaluable to me, um, and I've become so I lean so heavily on those that I don't know what happened last night, if I left an app on or what, but I know whenever I went to bed it was at 100%. And I go to church this morning and I'm ready to gauge everyone, and I made sure to tell everyone, look, we're going to be ready at 8:30 this morning for the first beat, for the for the first downbeat. We're ready at 8:30. Yeah. Except the worship pastor, who is trying to turn on his iPad, and I'm hitting the button, it's not coming on. I can't figure out why. So I'm pressing the button, and it's not even powering up. So I don't know if an app stayed on all night long or what, but it's just baffling to me. So thankfully, one of my vocalists on the praise team has an iPad, and he doesn't need his until he gets ready to teach his Sunday school class. So thankfully, thank you, David Lacey, thank you. Um, but I couldn't hook up the page turn pedal to it, so it was so hard for me. I had to actually finger swipe to turn a page instead of actually having to pick up a page. I couldn't use my foot to turn the page. We use these things, this technology, so much that we get so reliant on it. We use it as a crutch that we can't do things like turn an actual page anymore. It's just so. Um, but anyway, you guitarists now, you're gonna groan, because then we go further into the rehearsal, and we get done with doing the whole run through of the rehearsal, and I break. You're not gonna hear a misquote. You're gonna hear me say this correctly. I broke a D string. Yeah, the ominous grandfather clock is underscoring this. I broke a D string on my guitar. I didn't say a G string. I broke my D string on an acoustic guitar, on a Taylor. How do you break a D string on a guitar? How does that even happen in the first place? Go figure. And these are elixirs too. I mean, they're great strings. They're just, I don't know. I'm perplexed. So that is a surefire sign that Satan is all over this service today. I mean, you break a G string, that's just something bad that's happening. But it is a surefire sign that the pits of hell have opened up and Satan has come forth if you're breaking a D string. But no, so seriously, that's what I want to talk about is distractions and how you deal with the distractions. Um, and the reason why I want to talk about this is because of that very notion, calling out Satan whenever things go wrong. Because there's times that we're so quick to say Satan's involved in something, whenever he not necessarily is, and we don't know that he is. The point's how we deal with it. Because we can say whenever we're driving somewhere and we get a flat tire, and we say, well, Satan didn't want us to get somewhere. Well, not necessarily. Satan didn't necessarily put a tack out in the road, did he? The point is that there are distractions that are there. And sometimes we can cause the distraction. Sometimes it could be something that we're doing. It can be our inability. And sometimes it can be Satan, because Satan, let's be honest, Satan doesn't want certain things to happen. But the point is how we deal with it. And as worship pastors, as worship leaders, as lead worshipers and worship musicians, it's our job to make sure that worship is distraction free. I say this for a very important reason. Um, I hear worship leaders and worship coaches and worship pastors all the time telling their teams that we want to create worship that is this or that is that. Get that out of your system, please. If you're saying that to your team, stop today. Please stop. Please don't ever begin a sentence by saying we want to create worship, because you can't do it. You're not ever going to do it. If you think that you're going to create worship, you're missing the point, because you cannot create worship. Worship is already there. Every person that's walking through the doors of your church is worshiping something, I can guarantee you. Now, it may not be what you want them to worship. It may not be worshiping God. Now, some of them are, but they're not worshiping. They're not all worshiping God. Some of them are worshiping money. Some of them are worshiping the clothes that they're wearing. Some of them are worshiping their spouse. Some of them are worshiping themselves. Some of them are worshiping porn. They're all worshiping something. Our job is to hopefully direct that worship to where it needs to be, upward to God. That's what we need to be doing, and removing all the distractions that are there. And that's what I try to do in the situation that we had today. We took the last 10 minutes and we just, that we would normally use to go through a quick run through of everything and just say, God, there's distractions that are going on. Let us just overcome those distractions. If we have anything else that's on our mind or hearts, if we're thinking any other thoughts, just get rid of them, Lord. Let us be able to focus solely on you. Any distractions that are coming up that have us cornered, Lord, just to get rid of them so that we can focus on worshiping you. And that's, I think, how we need to handle anything that comes up, because there are going to be things in the service that comes up. There's going to be those times whenever you're going from a key of C and going to be transitioning into a key of G or key of B or something else, and someone doesn't do that. They go from a key of C, and then you're capoed in one key, and then the keyboardist is going to stay in another key. And how are you going to do that? Because it clashes. Well, that's a distraction. How are you going to do that? Are you going to make a scowling face? Or are you going to just go ahead and take care of that? Are you going to move gracefully through that? It's how you deal with that distraction and how you use it for God's glory. So I admonish you as worship pastors, as worship leaders, to deal with those distractions and find every way that you possibly can to not just look at it as this is Satan making an attack, but look at it for what it is, that this is one more step in trying to get in between what's going on with the worship of our God, and my goal of trying to remove that distraction and simply trying to figure out how that you remove those distractions from worship and focus on that. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's all about worship. Every step of the way, everything that you do is worshiping God. Whether or not it's singing a song or doing something as simple as setting your cruise control. If you ever wonder about that, why don't you do a search on God Worship on setting cruise control? I'm sure you'll be just as strangely confounded at my statement on how you can worship God through cruise control as you would at that article. But I'm telling you, you'll find a zillion reasons to be able to worship God, and you should. And if you ever question that, why don't you sing a song to yourself by Matt Redman called 10,000 Reasons? Because it's my goal is to find a reason after reason to worship God. Because if we ever lose sight of those reasons to worship, we've lost sight of what we're here for. Get rid of those distractions. Go forth and find new reasons to worship God on a daily basis. I love you guys. Have a great, 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 and blessed day.